Hey everybody, happy Friday. Welcome to another edition of The Daily here with Greg Lawless. I'm Nick Fershaw, starting off with one of my favorite storylines of the preseason. I hope you came fit to this taping of The Daily. Kevin Payne, quite upset up there in Toronto, the brand new president and general manager trying to change the culture in Toronto FC, not starting off so well. A handful of guys showed up to camp unfit. Kevin Payne's pretty furious.
Yeah, I mean, he said this is not something that we expected, and it's not something that will be tolerated. He basically said that a couple of guys, he said, look, a bunch of them came in fit, ready to go, all that, but a few of them didn't, and that really got under his skin, and he talked a little bit about how the culture at DC United was very different from that. The guys came in and they were in shape, they were monitoring them, but he made a very good point. One was that he said, we can monitor them in the offseason to see how they're doing. We give them fitness regimens and things like that. But you want to have a culture at the club that says, I don't have to monitor you. Yeah. You don't have to be sending me an email to tell me what you did. The culture is, I want to go to the gym and work out in the offseason. That's an important thing. There is a danger, though, in some of the things that Kevin Payne is saying, is that I don't think he wants to necessarily be bringing up, at DC United we did this, right. Not publicly necessarily. Internally, that's exactly what he should be doing because that's the kind of culture he wants to build at Toronto FC.
You mentioned the idea of going to the gym. Evidently, you had a conversation with Ryan Nelson, the new TFC head coach, about how hard is it to go to the gym when you are a professional athlete? When everybody else in their daily lives are trying to get to the gym, trying to stay fit.
And pay for it.
Yeah, right? And they got kids and they got work. How hard is it to get to the gym? I don't know. So we'll see if Kevin Payne can really change the culture up there at Toronto FC. You can read all the quotes. They're pretty funny. Some of the best of the preseason on MLSsoccer.com. Next up, will the San Jose Earthquakes repeat as Supporter Shield champs in 2013? If they do, they're going to have to do it without Simon Dawkins, at least for the beginning of the season. A guy who's really, I think, underappreciated in this league. A very talented player who's played for the Quakes on loan from Tottenham. Quakes found out on Thursday that he's actually going to be loaned to Aston Villa into the summer this time around. Basically just a shift in where he's going to play. The Quakes might be able to get him back in the summer, but they're going to miss him, and he's a valuable player.
He was a guy that he didn't start every game, although I think that toward the end of the season he started to get more time. I think that the emergence of Rafael Baca also helped to mitigate this absence. I think if Baca can continue to play the way he did last year, I don't think that Dawkins will be missed too much. But it's an interesting move, and I love that the San Jose president, Dave Cavell, came out and said, look, we will try to get him again in the summer.
They like him a lot. They were trying to get him back this season again, though. The folks over at Tottenham loaning him out to Aston Villa. Well, the preseason in full swing down in Tucson, Arizona. Our very own Matt Doyle and John Yardley were there on Thursday night when the Colorado Rapids played the Houston Dynamo. Let's hear from the guys down in Arizona.
Thanks, guys. Jonathan Yardley, Matt Doyle in Tucson after Houston's 1-0 victory over Colorado. And we're talking young players, Matt. A couple of matchups that shine from some of the younger guys tonight.
Yeah, down the left-hand side for Colorado, Tony Cascio was a creative force his entire 45 minutes. He's a guy who the Rapids need to break out in 2013 in order to get that 4-3-3 working. And, of course, the guy he was going against for the most part, Warren Creavalle, another second-year player, looking good at right back, a guy who's going to play big minutes, be it regular season, Champions League, Open Cup. They expect a lot out of him in 2013.
And then we turn to the rookies. One of the guys who set up Houston's goal was the rookie Jason Johnson. He's one of the rookies you're looking at.
Yeah, Johnson was a first-round draft pick. Saw his stock fall in the combine. Didn't play very well at all, but he looked good tonight, cutting inside on the left, strong on the ball, set up the only goal, had a breakaway late in the first half that he could have buried. Confident performance from him. Still has a lot of work to do, but better than we had seen from him previously.
And for Colorado, Dylan Powers.
Yeah, a really assured performance from him in the second half in the center of that midfield. Spreads the ball around very nicely. Didn't pick up an assist as he had on Tuesday, but you could see he knows how to unlock a defense. And maybe more importantly, he did a good job winning the second ball. That's something that is a question about him still, but it's something he'll need to do in order to win that starting role next to Hendry Thomas and behind Nick LaBrocca, Martin Rivero, somebody in that number 10 role.
The final Thursday night, Houston 1, Colorado 0. More Tucson action Friday night, 8 o'clock Eastern, Portland and Kansas City, right here on MLSsoccer.com.
Thanks, fellas. And another reminder, Sporting Kansas City and the Portland Timbers, they're going to go at it on Friday night and catch the live stream on MLSsoccer.com. And before we go, the latest edition of Extra Time Radio came out on Thursday. Dave Casper, the general manager from DC United, came on and explained a little bit of the thinking behind that deal for Andy Najar. It was a busy week in transaction. We talked a lot about that. But Dave Casper had some good insight into why DC United sold Andy Najar. Catch that on iTunes, Buzzsprout, Stitcher Radio. Does it for us. Have a great weekend.